We're here at NOCCA, New Orleans Center for Creative Arts. Every single one of these films was shot, produced, edited, and thought of by the students here at NOCCA. We had so much material from these filmmakers, we had to make 2 shows. If you're interested in becoming a filmmaker, you should contact NOCCA at NOCCA.com. Timecode NOCCA, you heard me?
The film is called Untied, and it's a short film, and our assignment was to incorporate color into it and emphasize a particular color. My color was yellow, which has a lot of similarities and correlates a lot with obsession. So the girl is obsessive-compulsive, and you see her doing all these kinds of obsessive-compulsive routines and rituals and things she does, and she meets someone a lot like her, and they kind of fall in love a little bit. But he, in the end, kind of tests her limits and unties her ribbon that she ties the same way every day, and she kind of has a nervous breakdown, but the color yellow is present throughout the short film. She wore a yellow shirt the whole time and she had a yellow ribbon. Post-production, I oversaturated the entire thing and made the yellow part of it the most prominent color in every shot that it was in.
Timecode NOLA.com.
The Thompson-Hayward plant is a pesticide or a former pesticide formulation. They were an industrial facility from the 1930s up until the 1980s and processed a lot of industrial chemicals for dry cleaning and made pesticides and a whole bunch of other chemical products for use in industry and commerce. And they were closed in the 80s by the EPA for producing pesticides that then became banned. Right now we don't have results for the test that we just took. We have test results that were collected by other groups. They found levels of a number of what are called organochlorine pesticides that were above the recommended cleanup levels for residential safety. Most notably dieldrin, aldrin, heptachlor, heptachloroepoxide, and toxaphene, which are all can cause neurological damage and are also cancer risks. Our main site in the Gert Town area is through this man named Paco, whose real name is Jesse James, actually. And he lives literally right across the street from the site. And his wife died of cancer a few years ago. And apparently the doctors either wouldn't tell her why or they wouldn't tell them what they think caused it.
They had a sign on the side of it for sale, and it was supposed to tear it down and put some kind of building or something up, but they keep us in the blind. They don't really let us know a lot. I remember them telling us they had the orange AIDS up in there. It's some kind of welfare chemical from Vietnam. A lot of women in the area, have cancer, and they've been cutting a lot of their breasts off and stuff. My wife died from cancer about 2002. Kept calling on my cell phone. She said, I got something important to tell you. So I said, what is it? She said, you gotta come. So I said, I'll be there in about an hour. So I was in the tub, and she gave me a letter. She said, did you read it? I glanced over and threw it on the table, and I didn't say anything about it. So give it back to me again. She said, read it. So I went over and I said, it said like 3.5 months pregnant. And it was like, I was happy in so many ways. And it was like, girl, I said, what the world gonna do with another you or me? Because we used to clown like that. She had a pain in her side, so we kept going back for testing. Come to find out, they wanted to run some tests. So they kept giving her, you know, different things for that pain, so she lost the baby. She had a miscarriage. She had cancer, but what kind, they don't know. It was all over her chest. So they told her, at least they told it to me. They finally sat down and they told me it was cancer and she had a short time to live. A lot of people is not back in the area, so they're gonna do what they want. You know, less people, less problems. You gotta live every day if it was like, you know, your last. Gotta keep it real with yourself. If you wait on the rest of the people to do something for you, your whole life will be to pass you by.
Like our house went messed up, but my mom's house, her glass was broke. So we got a new house out here, and so that was it. But nothing happened to our family.
The city of New Orleans is known for its poor educational system. Infamously known as one of the worst schools, Alice Forshey High School has been highly criticized. Forshey was not always a bad school. When it opened in 1931, it became one of the top schools in the city. The alumni include politicians and other powerful New Orleanians. However, when the public school system desegregated, many problems arose, especially at Forshey. The problems were not necessarily because of the new students, but because of the failure of the system as a whole. Forshey fell into turmoil.
We did suffer somewhat a bad reputation, but it was attributed to probably about maybe 20 kids at the most that was causing the problem. We had a large student body, and the majority of the kids did come to school, went to class, did what they had to do, passed the leap. But it just so happened that it was such a disruption with the other kids that more was paid to the negative than to the positive. What was holding Forshey back the most? I would have to say that, it's, like I said, education, link in the chain. Something was really wrong upstairs when I say that. I mean, you know, our school board system, it seems like they got a superintendent, couldn't keep one. all right? There was bickering on the school board when the focus should have been on the children and what was going on at the Fauchets of Orleans Parish. And that was just totally being ignored. It was too much bickering going on and not enough attention on the children. Okay, and I really believe if they would have followed their motto, children come first or no child left behind, that things would have been different. But that was not the case, not as I saw it.
This would have been Forche's last year as a school because of state requirements, because of LEAP scores, and being on probation and so forth.
Well, there was a strong feeling on part of the Lusher community that they wanted to do a high school. They wanted to take the elementary and middle school program and extend it into the high school level, and had joined forces with Tulane to try to make that happen, and the school district said no. For a lot of reasons, that plan didn't work. The Lusher community decided that they wanted to pursue it.
On August 29, 2005, Hurricane Katrina devastated New Orleans. In its aftermath, many social and political issues that had been haunting the city for decades were brought out into the national limelight. While our city still struggles to rebuild, things are changing.
Right after the storm, they had, there was a lot of uneasiness about what schools would open, could open, if there'd be enough local revenue. Right after the storm, we had our charter approved. We had filed for a charter the Saturday night before the storm, and after the storm, followed through with that application, and we were granted the charter.
I think that Lusher's move to a charter status was absolutely indispensable for its long-term survival. That being a part of the system being a part of the Orleans Parish school system wasn't probably in Lusher's long-term best interest. And so I think it's the best, it has its best prospects by being a charter school.
So after Katrina, there really was not a substantial population from the Forche student body to reopen the school.
Along with the charter came a high school, and the building we were in was not big enough to do a middle school and a high school. And then I got a couple of phone calls saying that they were doing requests for proposals for this building, for the Forche building, because Forche had been closed. Forche High School, the way it was before, was not going to reopen, and they were putting out requests for proposals for other people to take over.
So the proposal was made, Ms. Reidlinger and others proposed that we open this building and house both Lusher Middle as well as a new high school here. And that was accepted by the New Orleans Public Schools, by the Orleans Parish School Board.
I think that it was incredibly lucky for Lusher that this building became available after Forche was shut down as a school, that it's such a remarkable place. It's got such a rich history, and I think Lusher is probably the best school to capitalize on the glory that used to be a part of this school. I think this building is remarkable. I mean, it's kind of a monument to another time when education was thought of in such high, lofty, exalted terms. I mean, you just need to walk up to the building, to its facade, to just the enormity of the building, the materials that it was made of, the thoughtfulness of every detail. It's really, there's a certain grandeur here that's now being recovered. It's been really neglected for so long, but you walk through the hallways and there's a lofty air about the entire place. It's a very inspiring place to be because it was built in this era in which schools were thought of differently, that they were part of the banks, government, state houses, churches and schools were built this way as kind of the temples of commerce, and the commerce here being ideas and education. It's really stands for a time that has gone by. They don't build them like this anymore, and it's really an absolutely remarkable place.
there were some other issues within the city, political and others that were opposed to Lusher expanding, and that's unfortunate.
I think it's unfair to Lusher for those things to be said about Lusher, because my son has been here for years. I mean, 9 years, and he loves it here. And I mean, they don't make him feel like he's different. His differences has been accepted. When I say differences, I mean his culture has been embraced. All right, and that's not just him. That's the black students here at Lusher. I'm just sorry that the people who are behind, the people who are attacking Lusher, I wish they would have been lined up in front of Fauché and coming in here when I was here as a teacher, lining up at the door and saying, now what can we do to help you? But none of them did that.
Lusher was unfairly saddled with a lot of this baggage, that it was really, that it was remarkable in that it was able to succeed in such an adversarial environment for so long. I don't know how they managed to do that. And that a lot of this anger towards the school was misplaced. It was really rage about other things that they channeled into Lusher. And Lusher became this byword for elitism here and inequality, when I don't think that's quite such a fair assessment to have put upon it, because the school actually traditionally and still is remarkably diverse, and I think the most reflective of the actual city's population in its student body. So I think that was kind of unfair.
It's a program that celebrates diversity, racially, socioeconomically, culturally, religiously, academically.
This is working. This should be a model. This is diverse. Many people at one meeting that I attend was quoting Martin Luther King. But they often forget this part. Martin Luther King said that he had a dream that one day little black girls and little white girls and little black boys and little white boys would be hand in hand. This is his dream manifested. He died believing that someday this would come true, and here it is. It's manifested. So why do they want to tear it down? Why tear it down? That dream is here. It's a reality. So why tear it down? This is what Martin Luther King wanted. He wasn't fighting to be separate. No. He wanted diversity. And here it is. And most people are complaining that Lusher is racist. No. But I just wish they would have had that push and that drive and come over here to Fauché and, when we were having problems, and just come on in and say, okay, what can we do to help you? Didn't see none of them anywhere. I know that for sure.
Being a guy cheerleader, it's different. I mean, get to hang out with girls all the time. I mean, you get made fun of by a lot of people. Being criticized by people doesn't really, deter me from being a cheerleader. I mean, it's still fun, so I enjoy it and everything, so I still like it. I consider it a sport, yeah. I mean, it's tough sometimes, Got to pick up girls all the time,
I've been cheering since 6th, 7th grade, and haven't stopped. Well, I stopped 8th grade year just because I couldn't do it. 8th grade year, they won't let you. But other than that, I've been doing cheerleading. It's been a pretty hardcore activity for me the past couple of years. So I like cheerleading all the time. I love coming to practice and seeing my friends, and I mean, I feel like nothing can stop me when I'm out there, and I'm doing my thing, picking up those chicks, doing those one-arm stunts. I mean, it's not more, I don't know, it's just my main goal. I love showing off in front of crowds. I mean, that's my like goal to life, to make people look at me and stare and, oh God, that dude's awesome. I mean, stuff like that. I just go out there and I don't care what else people else think of me, and I know I'm good at what I do, and that's just how I feel about it. We have tons of people come out every year and try out. Like this year, we had, I don't know, like 3 or 4 people come out and want to be cheerleaders because we got 4th in the nation, and hopefully we'll get 1st this year. So.
I started cheerleading when I was in 10th grade, and I've been doing it for 2 years, so it's pretty cool. You know, you get some popularity out of it, and but also you get made fun of too. But I mean, it's all cool. You need the big beast on the team, you know, so you get lift all the girls up, you know, especially the hot ones. You got to get them in the air.
I've been cheerleading about, say, like 4 or 5 years now. It's a cool experience. I've been doing this for a while. I like doing cheerleading because it's fun and it's something to do.
Hey, my name's Elliot Hathaway. I'm a student at New Orleans Center for Creative Arts. My movie, Crusade for Cheerleading, is basically about a bunch of guy cheerleaders at an all-guys school, and it's a documentary, and basically it's just them talking about their experience cheerleading. Kind of how like people picked on them and kind of how like they feel about just being a cheerleader. I used a PDX-10 for the camera. I kind of went up on a kind of like a cliff in the gym that we filmed at, and I used it so that way you could see the cheerleaders underneath practicing while I interviewed them. For my future projects, I'm currently working on a short film right now that I wrote, and trying to get into a whole bunch of doing some techno music, doing dance tracks, doing some hip hop stuff, some R&B stuff for records of my own and stuff like that. And that's basically all the current work that I'm doing right now.
Oh no! Yeah!
I filled my cigar box up with postage stamps and ticket stubs and rusty things that I picked up along the way, and photographs it took to capture all the colors that enraptured my gaze. The yellow leaf that fell before me from a magnolia tree on one stormy day by St. Joe's grave. To save his babies and maybe to find a sense of relief, that hopefully one day they grow up and fall in love and have a few pups of their own that they would die for as well.
TimecodeNOLA.com.
TimecodeNOLA.com.
Urban man.
Crescent City.
8mm.
Independent.
Video.
Log on to www.timecodenola.com. You heard me?
TimecodeNOLA.com.
If you're a high school student interested in filmmaking or audio recording, you should come to NOCCA. So visit NOCCA.com or call 940-2787.
How could you be so beautiful and not know that you beautiful? How could you be so beautiful and not know that you beautiful, love? She know that she fine, but don't know she divine. She look in the mirror, see pretty eyes, lips, and nose. She look in the mirror, she don't see her soul. So out the house she go, not knowing her worth. All that she know is her shoes match her purse. How could you be so beautiful and not know that you beautiful? All that she know is her shoes match her purse. And y'all, it get worse. As she walk down the street, obscenities come out of cars as they beep. Hey, ho, what's up with it? She try to ignore it, act like she don't hear it, but slowly but surely they breaking her spirit, and after a while she won't even fear it. Her mother went through it, her sister did too, so she think it's something she's supposed to go through. And after a while she start thinking it's true. Somebody say, what's up, she say, nothing, nigga, what's up with you? See, how could you be so beautiful and not know that you beautiful? How could you be so beautiful and not know that you beautiful, love? She's so beautiful, but she can't see it. She see videos of stripper hoes and she wanna be it. She got a closet full of clothes, her mind full of nothing. Chase leather passenger seats, ain't thinking about nothing beyond the beauty salon. Her next night out, who she feeling to the point that they could feel her out. She get pregnant on the regular and killing it out. She got problems, prefer a cat to hit and be out. She fierce, pretty brown with her tongue pierced.
Basically, this film is kind of a PSA, sorta, and kind of a short film. I shot it with a PDX-10. Basically, it's in the film. It's talking about suicide and how this girl, how she goes through life every day, and she thinks that she's what other people portray her as, which is, you know, B's and H's and all other things of those sorts. And she's really not. So in the film, she gets fed up and she ends up killing herself because she's tired of dealing with the everyday situations that she faces day by day. My techniques in the movie, I use a lot of different shots, so far as, you know, a lot of close-ups to be personal, so far as a shot where she, you see her black eye. I don't know if you can see it that well. I use a lot of walking shots. I mean, just walking, trying to keep the camera steady. I used wide shots when she went outside. She started to walk to go wherever she was going, too far as probably the corner. Like that. I used. At NOCCA, I learned a lot of most of what I know. Like, because before I came here, I didn't know much at all about film. I was mostly an audio guy. I used to make beats and music and try to compose. But NOCCA taught me a lot so far as film. I think from when I first started at NOCCA last year to where I am now, I've become a better producer and a better director, editor, and everything. Overall outlook on the whole media situation that, you know, facing right now so far as NOCCA and things like that. As far as the future things I'm working on my album, working on a record label called Elemental Music. I'm working on Quest for Complex CD, which is me and my friend Chris. I have a performance coming up at the venue a whole bunch of things and trying to get beats out there, you know, MySpace, www.myspace.com/questq. You can find me on there. I mean, that's it. Use it.
My name's Zachary Pazek. My movie was Dead End Guitarist. It's about a guitarist who goes into this old house. He kind of, has his guitar, starts playing, and it's kind of what he thinks about while he's playing, and kind of takes him into this other world that's inside of his head, where he's walking down this old highway and through a forest, and then, you know, back down to a street where he eventually hits a dead end, and he kind of wakes up back in his own this old house, and then kind of leaves. One of the techniques I used in my movie is the part where he's walking through the forest, and what I did is I just filmed the same shot initially, I think 4 or 5 times. I just had him going through different rows of the forest. Like I looked kind of hard to find this perfect set of trees, and I had one set and then another set kind of behind him and another set behind there, and I had him walk through one time and then walk past the other ones one time and then the other ones one time, and then kind of just different ones, and every time I changed and then every time I would, you know, pause the camera, I would move the stop sign around, so that way in post-production I could edit it in a way to where it looked like whenever he was walking through one tree, he was coming out of another tree, and the stop sign would jump from different places. For the audio of the movie, what I had is I actually had the guitarist write a piece of music for it, and I had him play it there, and I just kind of had that going throughout the entire movie and everything. So I mean, that was kind of cool. The only thing is, I told him to make it about 1 minute long, and he wanted making it about 4 minutes. So kind of, I guess I had to change up my story a little bit in the movie. If you're a high school student interested in filmmaking or audio recording, you should come to NOCCA. So visit NOCCA.com or call 940-2787.
Hello, my name is Birchfield Doodlespank. Have you ever fathomed the mysteries of your everyday blending reciprocal? I have. And today, those mysteries will be resolved. You will learn
how to use a blender.
And today, we will start by... Is the camera on my face, Gus? On my face! Is it on my face? Turning on the blender. We have this white button here, the first button. It stands for pulse. You push it in, and you can take your finger off and it will stop what... The mic is in the camera. Here we have this first button, white. You push it, and the blender will go. But you remove your finger, and the blender will stop. That is the pulse button. The second button, gray, has a 2 above it. It's a little bit faster than the pulse, and if you push... What is this? The button after puree is mix. It's something humorous, Gus. You don't get paid to do much. And has a lovely sound to it, if you would just listen. What? Well, how did he get into the liquor cabinet? Are you filming? Gus, are you filming? Listen to me. You will not make a mockery of Birchfield A. Doodlespank Sr. The 6th button is beat. It has a lovely sound to it. It is not funny. It is not comical. It is not period. What are you doing? What are you? The 3rd button is the puree button. It is the bit. Gus! The 6th button is beat and has a lovely sound to it. You just listen. Oops. I'm laying on the line time and time again. Why? It doesn't work, see? It doesn't work. What? 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 No, it's something comical. What is this?
Birchfield, come back.
Why won't it work? Why, Gus?
Birch. We found out what was wrong with it.
What?
It was unplugged.
No! 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 These hands don't create, they only destroy!
Birchfield, no!
It's time, Gus! The hands must go!
You're a filmmaker, huh? You sit around with your partners talking about, you gonna shoot this or I'm gonna shoot that. You ain't shooting shit. You gotta finish the sound bites, and I need ADR and my soundtrack music ain't right. You ain't making movies if nobody ain't seeing them. Get the done, you bullshitting. We need your film. Send them in today. Timecode NOLA, you heard me?
Timecode NOLA is supported in part by the Louisiana Division of the Arts Council of New Orleans, COX Communications, and by people like you.